to be able to find success on both sides. So we'll see whether or not this side favors them against this team, this current Cambodia right now. We do see the Matilda being banned out. The Alpha goes out the window as well. Chip, last time around we saw Indonesia actually respect away the Angela from Cambodia, and we also saw a Cho from Cambodia. But at this point, I think the Suyo also needs to be considered here.
That's one of the things that's so difficult to draft when it comes to drafting against Indonesia. Like, what's in the mind of Coach Cassius? What's he thinking about? What are they going to give? What are they going to contest? Or are they going to be surprised first phase Edith ban? Something like that?
No. I have half a mind to think that they might even give the Edith to Fumi Echo in the first phase, like red
First
1 and
picks.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they should. Again, Fumi Echo shines in picks that allows her to be proactive. But then again, even in the game where we saw where she was just packing a high loss or vitalize, that was mostly just there standing, healing, card controlling, but from a very passive state, they were still very much okay with it. So for Cambodia, I think just make sure that you're contesting away the top gold laners of Shell. They might actually go into slightly experiment mode and then surprise and then pick up a first pick Harith, which we've seen. Not the great success in WEC, but if you really want to limit test the capabilities of what Shell in Indonesia can do, then you go ahead and do that. So as you mentioned, the Angela does get taken out and respected by Indonesia. Still a good call, and it takes away one of the best picks that you can use to empower Tegami, who has been an absolute tear today with the Assassins. First in that game 2 with Lancelot, then game 3 with Ling, up against Egypt.
I think maybe if Indonesia want, they can ban the Suyo here as well.
Yep.
In addition to everything you mentioned, okay, Suyo gets banned out because at this point in the game, Indonesia, if let's say Cambodia pick up something like the Hayabusa that was open, Indonesia can pick up something like the Hilda.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's tough.
Hilda Edith, would you?
Heck yeah. Totally okay with that. And honestly, you can even go into the second phase thinking, which one are we going to flex? But then the Mother of Tank has her Cho open for her. And I wouldn't knock it. If they go Cho right now, Cho Edith would be a good contest.
I don't think Cambodia has Cho in their hero pool,
Yeah,
so
we
they
have
can
to.
leave it later.
Yeah, they don't care. They just need to keep it for red 3.
Yes.
Because it's going to get banned out. Best believe. Coach Taimigo here. Moment of humanity. You saw as the Hayabusa was picked for Tegami. He's like, I got you. Tegami, I got you.
Okay. They don't rush into the Cho right away, knowing full well that the Tigreal is gonna be an option for Cambodia. Edith as well, still available. They go for the Gatot Kacha. It's more of a Moshi pick. While Nabi will get her signature Aurora. Again, no longer gonna doubt this pick anymore. I've learned.
This is template Cambodia at this point, right?
Yeah.
And it also works well against the Hylos in this regard.
Yeah, and Indonesia don't need to template anything. Like, they don't need to rush Vivian's Cho.
Yeah. A little bit different though is that first pick Hayabusa. So there were drafts where we've seen all throughout WEC where teams would ban the Hayabusa against the Indonesian first phase. Except this time, Cambodia goes to the route of taking it for themselves.
I think there still is room for flex with this Hylos. We've seen Indonesia play against the Hayabusa with an Arlet in the EXP lane. So that is something that they can still consider here.
Yeah, they're juggling contentions. I think they're deciding on, ooh, finally, we get to see the Khalid picked up. Still don't know where that's going to go. I think they're going to be waiting until they see the roam of Cambodian, and then that's when they'll make their final adjustments with where the Hylos and the Khalid will go.
I agree. Coming to the second phase now, I feel like Cambodia definitely will take away the options for the gold lane here. I think Harith would be a hot pickup.
For Indonesia. Oh yeah, that could clearly go into red 4, and I would be surprised if Cambodia doesn't ban it. If they don't ban the Harith and they still give it to Shell, they are prepared for it. And I think that's also one of the line of thinking of Coach Cassius right now. We're in, Harith, you know what, let's take away the Tigreal. That might give the Harith a bit of problems, because that's another pick that might force out the Purify earlier on. Now, Cambodia's thinking, wait, we're running out of picks to target the Harith.
And also, Cambodia's running out of picks for their roamer, for Yue.
Oh,
Tigreal gets banned out. They just need to ban out the Edith next. And then they're going to force her on something like the Franco. That didn't work at all for them.
I wouldn't want to see Franco for Cambodia again. I feel like now, especially when you're up against Indonesia, you're gonna want to pick up something that likes longer team fights. What the concept of dirty macro that Leo presented earlier, wherein I feel like that happens because team fights for some teams would go on for so long that minion waves are let through. The minion waves are just free pushing, and then that's how eventually the team that would win would get an even bigger map win because of the minion waves pushing. Edith ban makes a lot of sense here, unless they're going to start targeting and maybe just one for the matchup in the gold. Again, remember, Shell does have both the Harith and Lunox available for her as her best picks. And there goes the Harith. They take it out themselves.
Does Cambodia want to commit fully onto this jungle ban?
I'd be okay with it. Yeah,
There you
Nolan.
go.
There we go. You take out one good burst. And this is going to be a different playing field now for Indonesia. Vival won't end up with a big star jungler that we have right now, unless she has a Lancelot also in her hands.
Force on a tier 2.
Fanny's open.
Oh, right. You're right.
And Cambodia have to commit to that Fanny counter right here, right now with these 2 picks. Edith is still open.
Yep.
Yeah. I think the Edith would be good. And I think that's why Indonesia saved their jungle pick for last. If they decide to go Edith here, then maybe that makes the Fanny a little bit happier because you don't have that hard catch anymore.
Unless Cambodia... I know you don't like it, but they still can go Hilda, or they can go for Franco here. Franco Beatrix, maybe?
Fanny into Hilda isn't a full-on counter, but Yui can just keep throwing bodies.
With the presence of the Khalid and the high loss in the map, plus the Vexana, that might be tough. So they still go for the Edith, and they get the Bruno. I feel like that's more of a block pick for Shell. Good damage distribution.
It's good laning
Yeah.
against the Moskov.
But the Fanny that you mentioned, if this is a Fanny, it'd be tough.
Fanny or a Twist, a totally unexpected pick.
Like your Bane.
Do I like the Bane?
What are her options here?
We still haven't seen Julian at all. But I think... No, Julian might be okay. But
They have room for magic.
Yeah, they have room for magic. But if Moskov is their only physical, maybe it might be better to go for Assassin. Because I'm already happy with what the high loss and the Vexana can do. You're going to have a Thunderbelt of the Khalid anyway. So the damage distribution is good. Maybe just a little bit more burst. Oh, there we go, yeah.
That makes sense.
Debut Julian
Yeah.
in all of WEC.
Haven't seen her all throughout.
We talked about it time and time again. And it only took until the grand finals, guys, for it to
Yeah.
pop up.
Finally.
Kudos to Coach Taimigo, though, and the rest of Team Cambodia for stretching out Vival's hero pool.
Yeah.
And for making Coach Cassius think, hey, is it worth it to go Fanny here? And they instead, go for some magic. They have room for it. And wave clear.
Yeah. And I like the combination that they have with the high loss of Vexana and the Julian in the center of the map. That increases their chance of honestly dominating the first 5 minutes of the game. If Cambodia aren't careful, if they get caught out with great crowd control, the late entry by the Edith with a Primal Wrath from the EXP lane might just not be enough. And Cambodia might actually get surprised here. They have to be super careful.
Yeah, key for me is the fact that Indonesia have so much initiative. It's so easy for them to go 1-2 CC, blow you up.
Yeah.
I think Cambodia have to time that very well. They have to watch out for when these key skills come through.
There's going to be a sliver that Cambodia really needs to perfect for our first and opening game for our grand finals. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going straight into the land of dawn and back to the casters. Naisu Mirko, take us away.
We are almost there, Eterna. Thank you so much, Renmar and Leo, to break down our draft for game number 1. And remember, it's a best of 3 in the grand final here. Again, I'm Naisu, and this is Mirko, and we're bringing you the action for this grand final. It's been 4 days of battling here for the women to bring it up for the championship. And now what's on the line is this best of 3. And we know, we've talked about this a lot of times here, Mirko, how important game number 1 is to get your foot out the door in this series. Is it going to be Cambodia or will it be Indonesia? We'll find out. Game 1, best of 3. Both teams, they've made their way up to this point. We've seen Cambodia's rise through the ranks and now finding themselves once again in this grand final against the tournament favorite. Early invade already. Look at the pressure. Whoa.
First blood. Takami's going to be taken down. What's going on around the purple buff? Purple buff not taken, that'll definitely delay a whole lot of this early game farm for Takami. Julian already taking the orange buff, and it'll be Takami starting on the purple buff because of that, despite the fact that they already used Revitalize. That's 2 flickers too. Burnt out, that was a 2v3.
That's a lot. A whole lot. I mean, wow, talking about value for Indonesia to start things off. Yeah, that was Fumi Echo, you know, she's playing this Khalid here that, you know, for the longest time, a lot of people have seen it in the Roam, they've seen it in XP, but that is a ton of value, especially the fact that Fumi Echo gets that early kill, so she's going to have a minor advantage. And you can see this. They're still paying attention on this side of the jungle of Cambodia. Just kind of showing face, want to put pressure.
Stun coming down, no flicker on Navi, might be a solo kill. Vivian, this takes down the Aurora. Away going in again with the damage, but Fumi Echo is gone. The Blades back up again. It's Vivian on the high lows, getting a double and essentially shutting down Cambodia early.
Man, Indonesia, they have something else in mind for this game. Number one, already a minute and a half in, 3 kills.
They're aggro.
They're aggro. This is the aggro deck if this was a card game, because right now they're further in that lead, almost 2K up at this point. And, you know, that's tough because with Cambodia, with the lineup that they brought to this table, this is not the start you want to have. You don't want to start with your backs against the wall already, especially when you have a Hayabusa. You know, Hayabusa, you're not going to have the greatest time at going and contesting this first objective. So, ideally, you just give it up. You let Indonesia take it. You look for something else elsewhere, and that's exactly what Cambodia will do here. First turtle of the game worked on by Indonesia. They'll secure that. You know, you've got the shadow kill available. They might try to make a play, maybe if they can find one, but so far Indonesia is going to spot that out.
You get to see, oh, good onward over to City as the flicker gets out to safety. Gets a Terrify down in the Curse Blast too, so Nabi actually will be the one taking a big shot there. But like you said, Naisu, Indonesia, it does look like it is the case, right, for Cambodia. It's all about just trading at this point of the game, right? Losing the first few battles, and then, never mind, Vivian's going to continue this. Loader's pathway over to Takami. Also trying to escape, having to revitalize in. The SOD almost connecting. Takami should be able to take this down. Vivian should not be able to survive this. Quad Shadow in, that's a kill for Takami. Meanwhile, though, all that time was used for the Purple Ball to get taken down. The Eternal Guard catches Takami, and the Cursed Blast will poke her down.
All part of the plan, says Vivian in Indonesia. Not only that, but they'll rotate up here. Look at all this gold going in the pockets of Indonesia. They'll go ahead and stall out Moshi a little bit longer, waiting for Yui to make her way, but that gold plate already gone.
Everything.
They're going to force a fight here. I don't know if they can. Cambodia, I mean, even with the ability to go ahead and take down Vivian earlier on, they still find themselves at a deficit, you know, 2,000 gold to work against. And Tagami, if she loses her buffs like that, that's going to be tough.
That's annoying, though. The fact that Vivol took the purple buff, but she didn't clear it out fully, right? So Tagami will have to do it. Now it's going to be kind of delayed from spawning back in the game. Really good stuff from Indonesia, man. On the Julian, 2 levels ahead already. Because of the first blood, delaying the purple buff take, and then earlier, buying time for Vivol to steal it away. This is going to be a big problem coming into the later stage of the game. Cine, waiting in the bush. See, Terrify Sun, Eternal Guard, and wow, combo with the chain too, and City just takes that kill away with the Eternal Guard swinging the sword.
She even popped the Revitalize, man. Like, there was, even with the Revitalize and as a tankier hero, she just got blasted. And now Indonesia will continue to take more here on the bottom side, even more gold once again. They start up the objective right now, full control. I'm not sure if Moshi can really do much. He's looking to call the team, trying to keep this turret up. Yui jumps in, but ultimately nothing. And that's another turtle objective for Indonesia. We have to start talking about where can Cambodia turn this around? What can they do? They're 3.5 thousand behind already, under the 5-minute mark. What are they waiting for? Where do they find? Oh, Yui Fendi.
Oh, baiting out the Purify too. Yeah, Cindy didn't have the Eternal Guard there, so there was no kill threat, but the fact that she just appeared out of nowhere there.
Yeah, a little 1-2. You know, that's all she needed.
Made it as though she had to just kind of force out the Purify there. But yeah, I don't know, man. The Gatot Kacha, wait, in mid lane, might be caught again.
Oh.
And has Chain to knock her up. One basic attack with the Curse Blast. Nabi getting the Frigid Glacier onto 3. Now the Quad Shadow over to Fumi Echo. But Terrify disengages for Fumi Echo. Sydney with a great PO on the bottom lane is 1v1 here. SOD thrown away. Sydney, oh sorry, Chell will be solo killed down below by the XP lane.
Good thing for Moshi to pick that up. You know, stop the bleeding a little bit, but still the big apparent issue right now is Tagami has not had much control in her jungle. You're looking at it, she's only got a Hunter Strike. And, you know, with all the gold that Vivil's been able to get herself, you know, she's already got the wings, she's working on the next item. But that's enough. A lot of times, all we see is this interaction between dropping down enhanced chains, really, and the fact that you also have an internal guard. I mean, look how much damage has been done here by Cine already. And that's what's difficult, because even when you're just the crowd control alone, but then you're trying to escape and you're slowed down with Glorious Pathway, it's very difficult to play against that. Even when you're thinking, oh, I'm safe under my turret. No, you're not. Now in the mid lane, they're still putting the pressure 20 seconds away from that turtle, and right now it's just Cambodia scratching for whatever they can find across the map. Shell, she's gonna be by herself. She should be fine, still has a Purify. Might try to make a play down here. They're gonna trade possibly objective for maybe a turret, maybe a kill. Cambodia doesn't want to contest these right now, but Shell's holding her own. Yui Fendi finally working on the turret.
Moshi in the mid lane trying to just save this turret here. That's a golden staff already, 6 minutes in for Chell. Bottom lane will be a turret for Yui Fendi, so at least they get a few more objectives down to trade it for the turtle. But Vivo's still 2 levels ahead of Tagami, and essentially Tagami, I don't know, man. When you're behind on a Hayabusa, it feels just, it really feels bad. Especially considering you're up against a Julian who has so much consistent damage. It's like it's a DPS. I don't know. You can't kind of say that he's DPS, but it's kind of bursty too. It's a different kind of damage, I would say, right? For the assassin, for Hayabusa, it's way more bursty, and the fact that you're behind now will give so much more room for all the squishy backliners, Cine and Chell, to even get some more magic defense, or sorry, physical defense, so that they could deal with Tagami. And the big problem for Yue here on the Gata Kacha is the fact that, you know, Gata's really good against physical. But against magical, it's all the same. Vivian, Glorious Path. Wait, the stun doesn't connect in time. That's a flicker from Nabi.
Wow. Flicker and ult. They might have even possibly gotten the Revitalize out, but at least Yue holds on to that. Moshi, I'm not sure if she's going to get chased any further, but you're just seeing Indonesia. They're just kind of like, fight me. You know, come on, Cambodia, we want to fight. Because they know that they have the advantage right now in terms of raw power and everything else. And Cambodia has to play this smart. Like you mentioned, with Hayabusa, you're down like this in levels. You're not getting many buffs. You kind of just have to force yourself to just go farm up, you know, get what you need. And then maybe, like I would say, even to the point.
Wow.
That's interesting. Skypiercer, despite everything going on. So Skypiercer's picked up. Moshi, there's a focus once again on this top side here from Indonesia.
Vivo's just on the turret. Radiant Sandstorm from Fumieko will not find anyone. That's a flicker out of the Frigid Glacier as Vivian pops and Revitalize to survive. SOD all the way from the bottom lane. Moshi so wanted to go in, gets caught by Eternal Card in the back line. It's going to be a lot of damage. Plays on the Nabi somehow. The passive already used up. Yue in the midst of it all. Now just burst it down. Vivian claims the kill. Now it's Vivo who walks up forward with the sword. Now the chain to knock Yui Fendi up, baiting the Purify, and now it's a chase. Fumieko with the blade, and that's City perfecting the slide tackle to get the killing spree.
Right on top. They'll get the turret. Tagami was trying to get the buff. I'm not sure if she actually managed to give it, but right now it's the tier 2 falling. Indonesia, massive lead. They can take nearly everything they want. The shield is going to pop in the mid lane, and that Lord is ready for the taking. And at this point, Cambodia, like I said, they won't be able to do anything at this time with this Lord. They have to get ready for the defense. I'm not sure even Yui Fendi, you know, if the damage is where she needs it to be. Her and Tagami both really lacking in that department. So if a forced fight happens from Indonesia with this first Lord push, it's going to be really crucial that they somehow maintain that defensive formation and maybe even just rely on Nabi to drop down a proper Frigid Glacier to allow them to buy time. Because really, you can't even send anyone to just kind of split push. You know, you can't send Yui Fendi by herself in the top lane to push that out. You kind of just need everyone to help defend this. As now Indonesia will go ahead and knock down at that bottom at tier 2. Vivian getting a little more tanky. Picks up a Radiant Armor. This is very difficult. Cambodia lacking damage, now faced against a defensive lineup. Already locked in a front lineup from Indonesia. Lord's gonna make its way down the mid. Tagami goes in.
Yeah, we can see the Revitalize already. Chell, I don't know if she has defensive items. No, she doesn't. Only the Warrior Boots. it's enough just because of how behind Tagami is. Eternal Guard placed down to go and try to zone them away now. Moshi to be terrified, popping the Primal Wrath is ready. Yui Fendi going for the shots. The Frigid Glacier committed down as well. Turret still intact. Tagami in the back line, not able to get the Raging Sandstorm there for Echo to catch Tagami. But there was also no shadow kill from Tagami, so no kill threat. The Cannon Minion is desperately trying to get that turret down, and it's so low. But Indonesia will have to be happy with just that push in.
So they keep it together. They maintain that mid turret. Surprisingly so. Wings now picked up here by Navi.
Divine Glaive.
Divine Glaive though by
man.
Vival. This is very terrifying if Cambodia gets caught into enhanced chains or any kind of setup. And so, you know, they're just fighting for the boss. So,
Oh, the Terrorblade too with the Curse Blast City! Gets a kill from out of nowhere. Echo walking up, SOD barely hitting there. The passive down, the Curse Blast connecting earlier. City again gets the Terrify. Combos it in with a Curse Blast. Vival in the midst of it all with the Enhanced Sword, a bit too overextended, and will be taken out by Moshi with the Primal Wrath.
I think they're still going to go try to focus down this turret if they can. Even that mid turret, 1 HP away. Yui will keep them at bay though, so against it all, Cambodia holds on to all base turrets. But you're seeing this, man. The damage charts are insanity for Cine. Time and time again with the Curse Blast, able to just land that combination so well, whether she has an Eternal Guard or not. Her damage profile is absolutely insane. And at this point, Cambodia, even if they want to fight, even if they want to try to go ahead and stall some of these out, it's so difficult to a point where, you know, where do we even start for Cambodia? And part of it is continuing to build up the items that they need. Looks like we're going to take a short pause here to go ahead and get things situated. So, yeah, let's play with the idea here. Cambodia is down 8,000, almost 9,000 gold at the 12-minute mark. The next Lord, do they just give it up? Do they just let that go and continue to stay in the base?
At this point, I feel like they just have to fight Naisu. Their composition isn't really built to defend, right? The Hayabusa, the Aurora as well. These are team fighting picks.
Yeah.
The Bruno is the only person who can really clear. I guess if you use Primal Wrath too, but again, if you have to use a Primal Wrath for the Lord, that makes room for everybody else to just dive on you, right? So I think at this point, you just have to try to fight it out. This composition wasn't built to defend. And the problem is right now, even if they try to play the macro game, they can't. Who are you going to send into the side lane? Bruno, Yui Fendi, who's so behind compared to the Moscow, compared to Chell, who's always going to be the one sent by Indonesia towards the far lane. And then you have Hayabusa, that obviously can be a way to push out the side lanes, but Wind of Nature is already built. You can see there from the items of Chell. Wind of Nature already. 3 items plus Wind of Nature at the 12-minute mark. The Endless Battle will certainly help against the Wind of Nature, but I don't think it's going to be enough to actually 1v1 Chell. So, try to group up, stay decisive, look for an initiation, right? If it doesn't happen, then sure, you can always go next game. But if they just go and defend, I think that's riskier than actually going for a fight.
See if they can pull it off. Knowing how far behind they are here at this point, Cambodia might have to go for even a Hail Mary play at some point. Malefic Gun being picked up by Yui Fendi. Not sure if they're going to be able to get any of the control around this that they want. It's already been quickly worked on, and that's the Lord. Secured by Vival. Yui just gonna get chased down a little bit, but ultimately, you know, whether it's a good thing or not, man, they're gonna have to defend in their base. They're gonna have to make this work either way. And like we saw, you know, we got a glimpse of it. Even though they were down earlier on quite a bit, they still managed to stay in the game. They still managed to hold on to the base turrets. At least that, you know, that mid turret is pretty much gonna be gone this next push in. But still, Cambodia, we've seen them do pretty amazing things. You know, even the previous series and matches that they've had, maybe this is an opportunity for them to go ahead and do it again, depending on how they approach this fight. And even Indonesia, you know, we've seen them make a little bit of some oversteps in the previous matches, but I think this one, it's just, they have such a big lead, they have such a good composition that that window of messing things up is so small right now. So Indonesia gets ready, knock on the doors, Eternal Guard drop down.
Oh, the glorious pathway too. Trying to bait out the resources in the bottom lane so that the Lord can just charge in for free. 2 base turrets taken down up top as well. Pivot will pick it up now in a 1v1 against Sakami. Has the quad shadow to escape. Vivian with a stun down onto Moshi. Raging Sandstorm flicker into the back, finding Navi. The Frigid Glacier connects to the AOG. Will be able to punish Echo. That's Vivian falling too, and look at the damage. Takami with the Sky Piercer. Chell has the Wind of Nature, is able to survive. The big gamble for Takami paid off.
What just happened? Yeah, they lost all their base turrets, but 4 members of Indonesia go down. Talk about a defense and a turn of events for Cambodia. They got to play this right, though, because even with that, the members of Indonesia are going to be back up. They're going to be able to adjust, but Cambodia has to get what they can. They cleared out the lanes. They should be able to get some turrets to work with, but this puts them in a position, in a much better position for the next Lord a minute away. And that is a huge momentum and morale boost for their favor. They will be able to get quite a few items. I mean, once that team fight happened, you saw all those items being picked up for Cambodia. So, hey, you know what? Even if they struggled the past 13 minutes of this game, they stay in the game, they stay composed, and they made something work. Yui, she's gonna go ahead and show a face here. They're still 40 seconds away. The problem with this, even though that they had that massive defense, they still can't just send someone to push in the lane, right? They're initially stuck by playing together. Because even if Tagami goes and she tries to push one of the side lanes a little bit, Shell's gonna show up, or she's gonna be forced to go ahead and try to run away, and there's just so much initiation coming out from Indonesia where they can cut her off. And obviously they don't want that to happen. Tagami?
Tagami's got the quad channel back again. Chell pops in with the nature in time. Tagami's gonna be caught in the Eternal Guard too, but Chell got the solo. Moshi now in a bad spot, will be able to dish out some damage together with the Frigid Glacier, but that is 2 big resources. No Primal Wrath, no Frigid Glacier. The terrifying Moshi's immortality has been popped, and that was also Nabi taken down by Bibble. 3-for-1 trade.
Man, that's a massive trade for Indonesia. You're thinking something could happen. You know, Tagami, as I was saying, if she's going to be in a side lane and tries to do something, whether that's push, whether get a kill, you still expose yourself. And now 2 members on the defense. Indonesia will let them deal with the waves pushing in, and they'll make their way for this Lord. So still, Cambodia will be in the game. They'll be full force on the defense. And honestly, it comes down to that. Can they actually rally once again to defend, even without base turrets, without any of that to support them up? Yui takes the spear. Shell's joining that. They know they want to go ahead and try to take this purple buff if they can. Some more big items were picked up on both sides with it. So Cambodia, have they been able to unlock the power that they need to actually go and win this team fight around? We know that the Wind of Nature was also used earlier on, and so that might be part of it. Some of the switching happening with the Winter Crowns and the Immortality, as we say it. There's Moshi picking up the Winter Crown. She might kind of have to just throw herself up the front and try to delay things out. Lord making its way in the mid as Indonesia walks this in. Notice the placement of Tagami. How do they approach this defense? The waves are pushing in.
They just have to save their resources for a moment to go for those big Frigid Glaciers, big Earth Shatters. So far, Primal Wrath used up. They've on a miss of an outrageous Sandstorm connecting on the 2, but it's purified out of. Now the AOG locking them down with Frigid Glacier 2. It's going to be Fumi Echo falling. City trying to go for the base right now as Moshi is still able to survive with a flicker as well. Winter Crown used up. Moshi with the onward, finding it onto City. It's a trade in the end. Tagami and Nabi now versus Bibble, Vivian and Chell. Bibble with the sword, Chell with the blink forward. Indonesia secure game 1 match point in the grand finals.
Championship point now for Indonesia. Almost 18 minutes in, took them a little bit longer. And Cambodia, after a great defense, just couldn't withstand the amount of pressure that this lineup from Indonesia brought to the base push. So again, a good try. Cambodia has to be able to adjust from this when they head into game 2. But man, like we said, Indonesia, they are the tournament favorite. They have done a lot. They've only tasted 1 game defeat. And right now, Cambodia has to go ahead and channel into what they did previously with all the obstacles they faced the past 4 days, and even their journey over here. You know, this is the time for them to go ahead and calibrate themselves, learn from game 1. There's a lot of things they could take from that, adjust going forward. I would say, you know, the draft clearly had a game plan there. I just feel like things kind of scaled out of control for them. So we'll see what they do, but I know first we've got to focus on this game number 1. Our panelists definitely have a lot to say. What do you guys think about game 1?
Thanks, Miracle. Thanks, Naisu, for the cast for game number 1. And like you mentioned, championship point now held in by the Southeast Asian queens, the powerhouse of Southeast Asia right now. As Cambodia now, the pressure's on them to force a game number 2. But I gotta say, that was a masterclass game, I think, from Indonesia to dissect exactly what made Cambodia so strong up until this point. But we're gonna throw it over to the analysts. What do you guys think?
Well, we did say Cambodia really needed to be careful with their engages. With the combination of the high loss of Ixana and the Julian together, you get a great invading combo. Add to that the adjustment they made in the early game for Fumi Echo to say, I don't care about my minion waves, we want to pressure the jungle right away. That's how they took control of it. Once that Hayabusa went down, before she even got her first buff, that's not good. We know Julian is a level 3 power spike. That's why for majority of the game, Cambodia was winning.
I'll say even level 2. Compared to the Hayabusa, if the Julian hits level 2, even before Tegami knows what's up, that's already a win. So where did the plot twist happen? Indonesia, they kept the pressure up. They kept attacking Cambodia over and over again, leaving Tegami and the rest of Cambodia wondering, where do we find this clapback? And here you'll see that Cambodia know how to fight from behind. They know how to throw bodies well enough without getting punished so that even when they find themselves inside their base, they can find a comeback. And I think it comes in a little later after this. It happened inside their base, wherein they wiped out Indonesia. But something tells me that was too little too late, because as soon as I saw Chell pulling up into this lower bush here to the right, I knew that that was an end angle. I knew that they found the weakness in Cambodia. And you'll see, I think, in the last few moments, I think past this is still where they get punished.
This is the turnaround, yeah. Fumi went in. I feel like she didn't need to commit the flicker. A little bit too eager for that.
Yeah, they were getting a little impatient. And look at where they placed Yui Fendi. And Moshi, oh wow, Moshi flickered in to get that wipeout.
Yeah. Again, when it comes to the Edith and the Bruno, they're fantastic with turning the game around as long as they get to a certain point. The magic number at that time was at around 40, 35. That's why you saw Indonesia be aggressive as they did, because they knew that was the mark wherein they'd have enough damage items on the Bruno to be a significant factor. Turns out the significant factor was also that Edith. As the game went on though, after that I really thought Cambodia could make a more threatening push, maybe take more base turrets in the base of Indonesia, but they just had to commit that overextend in the bot. They were too greedy trying to take down Shell.
And at the end of the day, looking at Indonesia's lineup, the draft that they ended up with, if it did come down to it, if it did come down to dirty macro winning, I don't think Cambodia can trump Indonesia. Because look, they have the Moskov, which can go coast to coast. They have the Julian, who can go from bush to bush and threaten a burst, like single-handedly, maybe even better than a Nolan would, because a Nolan has 0 CC, right? But he has infinite burst. The Julian can actually hit you with more smaller bursts of damage, but has CC. So he can take down 2. If he can find Tegami and Yui Fendi sitting in the bush, that's what Vival could do. And then you have Fumi Echo, who maybe after the 2 sudden Raging Sandstorms into the base, can just play the side lanes. Because she moves so fast. That Sandwalk, it's almost as good as, say, Link's Finch Poise.
Yeah, they have a good map presence, and that's why Indonesia, again, as what we mentioned, was aggressive from not even minute 1, second 1, maybe even just the draft. They're already being aggro. The moment they knew what they wanted to deal with, they saw the Hayabusa on the other end. It's like, all right, we're going to play a lineup that's just going to be aggressive right out of the gate.
Take Tegami down.
Take Tegami down, and that was it. I will die on the hill of, if you are going up against a team that is notorious for taking control of the center of the map, Gatotkaca, to me, is not a jungle protector. We've seen enough games, not just in IESF women's, but IESF men's as well, where Gatotkaca roams would actually suffer, and their jungle would suffer against teams that are very aggressive with going to the jungle. What they are good at, though, are mid-game, mid-fight turnarounds. And I think for teams that would prioritize the Gatotkaca, that's something that they're accepting already. That if they pick that hero, we're probably not going to win the early, but we will win a fight because the Gatakacha late entry and the mid to the late game Gatakacha power spike alongside the rest of the team is really good.
I agree. I think they need to protect the Gummies a lot better, right? Especially coming into the drafts. We saw the Hylos and the Khalid actually already in the first phase. So they already should have had an idea of how aggressive this composition would have been. Seeing the history of Indonesia and how they play, usually they go very aggressive with the Hilda and the Cho, and then they kind of substituted that with the Hylos and the Khalid that did exactly the same thing. And so what would you guys think would be a proper stopper if not Gatot? Should they pick up the Hylos for themselves?
If they could, honestly, there are two picks mainly that empower a very aggressive Indonesia lineup. It's the Hylos and it's the Cho. The times where we saw Vivian play, not to say that they had a bad game with that, it's just you saw that they were a little bit more, all right, I'll stay on this side of the river. Hey, Fumieko, you go ahead in front for me. That's how you usually would want to play around with the Gatot. That's the follow-up. It's the little shift up. So yeah, if they could, I'd want to see them pick up a Hylos. I really thought that they would even consider picking up the Khalid once they saw the Hylos on the other side. Because with the Hylos and Khalid together, you are just going to expect aggro. Except instead, they got the Gatakacha. They did get crowd control in the Aurora that might have helped. But the raw power of the early game Khalid alongside the Vexana is a bit too much to handle for invade defense.
By the way, that was a Vexana debut for Cine.
Oh yeah.
She hasn't picked it up just yet,
So she
and she
finally
was
played
number
the meta.
one.
So she finally played the meta.
She did, and she
Yeah.
was number one damage dealt.
That's what you can expect from Artillery Mage against a lineup that will struggle from second one. Which I think brings me to my next point here. Bottom line, don't put Tegami in the forefront of your draft. You have to hide her. Treat her like a gold laner. Treat her like you would Yui Fendi.
Yeah.
So make like what you did against Egypt in that last game of that series. Sandbag the gold lane and the jungle. Pick up your utility first.
Yeah.
Equip Yui, equip Nabi, and equip Moshi, and then go from there.
But do you not think that that was a forced error? Because the Hayabusa was left open. I'm pretty sure if they didn't pick it in the first phase, that maybe Indonesia would have picked it up for themselves.
Yeah.
It's a bait.
Yeah, and the defense of Cambodia, and don't worry, I side with you on that one. Because of the drafting sequence where they had the Matilda Alpha Jushin banned by Cambodia, and then the Chip Angela Suyo banned by Indonesia, it made sense for them to take the jungle pick that a lot of teams banned from Indonesia. It's just that I feel like they weren't well equipped to really protect it, and Indonesia knew what they needed to do to shut it down. So now, knowing that that didn't work, okay, you default back to a more safer drafting pattern for your jungler. That if it's not the Alpha or it's not the Suyo, don't pick it up. Pick the Gami's picks for later. The games that Cambodia shined with today were last picks for Tegami. Later Ling, later Lancelot. They can play for surprise.
So with that, do they ban the Hayabusa just straight up?
They don't have to. Because if Vival ends up with a Hayabusa, I'm sure they could answer it too. Still, Yui plays a Hilda. So if they somehow end up with a Hilda, which by the way, looking back, is that right? Yeah, she was totally snubbed in game one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Yui can pick up the Hilda, they can be on the offensive, they can protect Tegami, all the while attacking Vival in the jungle.
So they play the same exact strategy that Indo did in
Flip
game
it
number
over.
one.
Flip it over. And yes, instead of the Julian here being the perfect tool for the right job, again, you want that early game power spike, you give Tegami a killer jungle.
Yeah, I think Cambodia really need to consider that Indonesia might still continue to run with just a fast scaling. They thrive with speed, they thrive with aggression. And the Vexana of Cine, surprisingly enough, if they can't directly take it away from her, they need to think of a way of really just respecting her, because Cine made that look easy, I'm not gonna lie. She absolutely controlled the center. Every time Vivian had info, it's like, all right, drop down an Eternal Guard, no hesitation.
That's a big problem, honestly. Because when it comes down to the drafts, Bruno Moskov, who do you think wins that lane? Supposedly, in theory.
Bruno.
Right?
Yeah.
And it didn't even matter that Shell lost the lane because of the mid-prio that was given over to Indo.
Yeah, Cambodia was reeling too hard from the hit on Tegami that they turtled up.
Yeah.
They said, you know what? Yui Fendi, like, you should be winning this lane, but we need to protect Tegami first, which again, could have been solved by protecting her in the draft.
So hopefully, if we are going to be seeing the same drafting sides, it's not even a little switch up strategy. It's a big one when you change up from a jungle first pick to something else, but it's going to be different. It's Indonesia now actually on the blue side, and the very first ban, it's Chip. This is them saying we want to control the draft by taking away the usual red side ban.
I think this is Cambodia's preferred side, right? In their previous matchup against Egypt,
Yep.
they always opted to go for red side.
This is where they're capable of sandbagging the gold and the jungle so comfortably because they can commit hard in that 2-pick swing. Aurora X. Literally, just Aurora plus whatever they feel like. Edith, Aurora Hylos, Aurora Hilda.
And that's always the problems. If they are going to still commit into an early Gatot, please put it in the EXP lane. And then go back to your typical ideas of if it's an Edith roam, if it's a Take Real roam, something just a little bit more active and can be a pester alongside defending. Am I crazy to think that Gatot Kaja isn't a jungle protector? Because even in men's.
No, you're right. It's more of a formation breaker
Yeah.
than a jungle protector.
Yeah. That's why EXP if possible.
You're better on the offensive than the defensive.
Yeah. Okay, so they're respecting the Fanny that could come out from Tegami, even though they have a Cho on their side and we don't see a Cho. I think that's just Indonesia's just straight up going, nope, we don't want to do that. But then, that's a signal for Cambodia that Indonesia are respecting your assassins. So the Ling and the Lancelots now will, if they go into the second phase, lose their surprise effect. You just have to really make sure that it's well equipped to be able to farm and do well. If Angela gets let through, though, in the first phase of banning, wouldn't turn off the idea that we'll see... Nope, they take it away, Good call by Indonesia.
It's a lactose-intolerant draft, no cheese.
Yeah, no cheese.
I thought maybe with the Fanny ban, they wanted to go for the Angel Ling combo. Like they didn't want that Fanny versus Ling matchup in the jungle. But now, we have the Matilda, Ling, Hayabusa, Phoveus, Alpha.
Yeah.
Jinx. There you go. Taking out the Matilda. So I think these are more justifiable, reasonable trades these teams are going for. I like what Indonesia's doing. Indonesia is testing how deep Cambodia's pocket picks are. Because they're taking out even the Angeline combo.
Yeah. So one of the main questions for Indonesia is what's going to be the relationship of Vivian and Fumi in the EXP lane, in the roam EXP right now. Is Fumi going to be more frontliner, Vivian follow-up? Is Vivian frontliner and Fumi follow-up? Or are they going to end up with picks that are a little bit more independent of one another? So the question is, Phoveus, maybe?
Yeah, I don't think Vival wants to rush the Alpha. I think they're better on the answer back. If the high is open, you pick it.
That's a flex by Indonesia. It's like telling them, all right, we're going to show you how it's done.
Yep.
Very surprising.
I mean, technically now Cambodia can actually answer back the same way Indo did, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just go aggro. Does that mean they switch up the Aurora? I think the Aurora's fine. You go
Yep. It's
Aurora
safe as well.
Hilda?
Or Hilda.
Because there's no Alpha anymore.
Yeah. I feel like one of the problems was the Khalid. But if ever, okay, if Cambodia overthink and say, hey, let's go Hylos Khalid too, you know, invade their jungle like what they did to us, that'll just be another easy Vexana game, once again, by Sini. They can expect that better and early. Vexana is quite good at defending jungles. You still go for the Gatot Kacha, please make that an EXP lane pick.
And then be just as aggressive.
Yeah. Go aggro if you can. Whoa, they're rushing the Moskov?
Yeah.
That is a choice.
I guess what Indonesia did as well in the previous game was they took the Moskov away. I think that's again, sometimes it doesn't make sense, but when it comes to Cambodia and their power picks, it just doesn't make sense, but it works.
You know what? Thank you for reminding me
Right?
that it is a power pick for Yui Fendi. They're gonna have to set that up.
How do they do that?
I suggest they do it come the second phase. They ban more gold laners because we've learned throughout the playoffs, if you attack Shell, she gets compromised. If you take away the initiative from the gold lane, from Shell, she struggles. Egypt sought out that weakness, but instead they answer it back. There's a Harith.
Which is why the Moskov in the early stage of the game, you know, despite it being a power pick, is just so risky. There's so many laners that still win that lane. And now the problem is, earlier, Shell was in a losing matchup, and now she's on a winning matchup.
Yeah, and this is the signature Shell Harith at this point. If all else fails, break glass, bring out the early Harith pick for Shell out.
It's what turned upside down the matchup against Egypt. when Team Indonesia had to reverse sweep that opener today. Cambodia here. Man, I don't know. I don't think
Aurora,
they want
I
to
think.
focus on utility anymore.
Tick. Save the mid for later. Go Tick. Oh, okay.
It's got to
Sure.
be. It's got to be.
Get the still chasing power picks.
So they attack mid now.
Yeah. The thing is, Cindy has such a wide hero pool.
Exactly. It feels like a practice in futility.
Yeah.
Because you know that she has like half a dozen heroes.
Yeah, so maybe that's why they just defaulted into thinking, you know what, let's just get our power picks. Let us remind you again, the heroes that are still available that Sydney has played. Lunox,
Cyclops.
Lo Yi,
Karita.
Sicilian,
Vixana.
Valentina.
Eve.
Eve. There's so many!
You know, I'm not surprised if they pull out something crazy like a Faramis at this point.
She
You
can
know,
do that too.
Oh,
Like
from
this,
Indonesia?
Anticipate maybe a Nolan pick or something like that.
this is a Valentina lineup. I would pick a Valentina, just the Hylos and the Harith alone.
Yeah. Funnily enough, out of all the picks, the Valentino was the one that I'd be a little bit more willing to let go of.
Well, you know why?
Why?
Edith's open.
Ah,
They're protecting the Edith. So give
right,
you the Edith,
right.
prop the Gatot into the XP.
Yeah.
It's what we've been preaching all draft long.
So if that's the case, that's an easy Edith ban here then. If not here, then it's going to be the last one.
Oh, I love it. Cambodia's giving Indonesia an ultimatum. You ban out the Edith or junglers for Tegami.
No, they decided to go for a Lance ban. It just goes to show how impressive Tegami's performance earlier in the Lancelot was.
I mean, we doubted it.
They just went ahead and said, nope. Even though they have a lineup right now that, actually, no, yeah, that doesn't deal with the Lancelot well.
We are the necessary fuel to Tagami's fire.
Yeah.
Every time we doubt a pick,
There has to be the yin to the yang.
All right, so if you want to see a Game 3, we have to doubt whatever pick Tegami ends up
Yes.
with. Okay. Apparently, that's the secret to it all.
All right, we're here to play a role, ladies and gentlemen, for the show, for the drama here at the grand finals.
This I like. I appreciate the slow Yi ban. Now it's Cambodia telling Indonesia, you know what? Gone are the tricks. Let's be honest with our team
And
fighting.
you can't win the map.
Yeah.
We will at least hold on to the map. Hold on for dear life into the late game.
Yeah, it's going to be an honest approach by Indonesia. So, does that mean you ban the Edith here? Because when it comes to an honest approach, a very obvious team fight, Cambodia does well with that.
I
If
think I
they
like
end up
that.
with an Edith.
Yeah, I think I like that Edith Ben. Because then UA would be forced on something like what? A Tigreal?
Yes.
She doesn't mind.
I mean, with the composition that Indonesia have
It's not
right
the best.
now, right?
It's not the best.
Harith can go
Especially
Purify.
if you put a Purify on the Harith. Oh, there's the Alpha.
They still ban the Alpha. Okay.
Keeping Tegami honest, what else is left
Yeah.
in the tank?
They're more than willing to give her
A Ling.
Lings, Assassins, with the Cho still open. Oh, yeah, no, this might be tough for Cambodia.
Indonesia knows this is the Edith, and then whatever Tegami plays.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the script.
If Indonesia,
Unless suddenly the Hilda pops up.
whoa,
Arlen.
Oh, this is, I think, a pocket for Yui. We've seen her try to play this, no?
they can,
It was Moshi earlier on the Arlet, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
they can still go Phovius. It's still open in the draft that Hylos can still definitely go Roam, paired with a high crowd control burst mid or
Orpheus Faramis?
crowd control mid. They go Eve, right under that. They don't care about the Arlot if they got the Kacha. They're very confident. And the Phobius would really enjoy fighting under the real-world manipulation. They can also surprise and maybe just go take themselves if they want to. Or no, it's still aggro. Still control. And it's still pressure Tegami in the jungle no matter what.
That's
Yep.
their insurance policy to the insurance policy.
Yeah.
The deterrent.
They're anticipating.
No need to get fancy, no Phobiuses. It's just invade your jungle. I don't think Cambodia are well prepared for that in terms of their picks. If this is an Arlot Rome, nope. We talked about the Gata, Kacha, and Aurora, so...
Fredrin!
They dig deep.
What?
They dig deep. And about 6.5 feet down that pocket, they find something of value.
The last time she picked this up was online qualifiers, back when Fredrin was still meta.
And it's 4-1. It's all in on Yui Fendi. Might as well change your name to Yui Funnel. It's not funny, I get it, but it's dire
I laughed.
straits.
Hey, we both laughed.
I laugh.
Thanks.
I wish Cambodia just had the different gold laner, because I feel like the firepower might just be lacking.
Like a Lunox?
Look,
Yeah, I like the Fredrin. I'm not knocking it. It's if you reeled it back a little bit, you're gonna think a few months ago this Fredrin is perfect. Just watch out for this Harith now. But it's not gonna be an easy climb. If it is, then again it's another crazy Tegami performance.
In hindsight, yeah, I agree with you. Maybe the gold laner should have changed, but I'm still pretty in shock with the Fredrin. I love
Yeah.
Fredrin, but not like this.
they needed a hero that wouldn't, just knee down to how much aggression that a Khalid and a Hylos needed.
Yeah.
And the last time we doubted a Tegami pick, they brought us all the way to game number 3.
is the
So,
Yeah.
again, this is the grand finals. Go big or go home. Naisu Mirko, what's up with the Fredrin pick?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you guys what's up with the Fredrin pick. This is another digging deep in Tegami's hero pool. Fredrin, he was the king of the jungle for the longest time as a hero. Then he fell off the meta. Well, they're bringing it back, and as far back as we can go. But that's not to say Fredrin isn't of value. In this lineup, it still can be. And like we mentioned, you got to funnel Yui Fendi. So jumping into it, we already know championship point for Indonesia. This grand final, it's a best of 3. Can Cambodia bring us to a third game like we've had all day? Taking a look at this, Mirko, anything that's standing out to start things up?
Emblem-wise, not really. Everything really kind of normal here. Nothing too crazy in the emblem department. Everybody just going for the classic. But what the Fredrin does is also kind of stop that invading power. If you were afraid of the Khalid and Hylos going to you as an assassin, on a Fredrin, you're not really that afraid, right? You should be able to actually hold your own here. Even if Cine and Vivian walks up, well, they're actually all going to come in to the purple buff.
Same thing.
Let's see. Let's see. And Tegami
Okay.
can actually still survive. So far, so good. Gets out to safety. Yue popping Revitalize as well. Now Moshi rotating in Vengeance and the reset. First blood.
Oh!
Mieko falling as well. Tegami picking up the kill. And you can already see, almost a retry steal from Vival, but a bit too late to come into the fight. And that's what we were talking about. You
Yep.
do not invade a Fredrin, sir.
You know, maybe you have to get a reality check, right? This Fredrin was this way before, and it's still nearly the same. Good response. It was good backup from Cambodia to go ahead and secure Tegami, the buff, and then you end up getting 2 kills out of the exchange, 1 for Tegami, 1 for Moshi. That's going to be great for them. The other attention they need to pay is here. Vival up on the top side, level 4, and that's why Yui is going to visit up there. Shell has been doing great on the Harith, for the most part. One of the obviously top picks for her, especially in the gold lane in general. So that's the thing, is Cambodia kind of shifted already from the point of what they have to focus on early game, and at the same time allowing Yui Fendi to just farm up, get all the gold that she needs, get the plays that she needs to make. Objective is up though. She still kind of going 1v1 with Fumieko. They both don't have the level 4s just yet, but this turtle is up, so that's going to be the main focus for both teams as these rest of the members do get the level 4. They need the ultimates for this fight, and it'll be Cambodia that starts to get the space to work with. I'm not sure. Vival might just go for a steal. They may not want to fight this, but looks like they're going to go for it.
Quad Shadow ready. Yue still going for it. Final slash. Vival winning out the Reggie battle and jumping to the back line, but Navi's become the real world manipulation. Gets the Frigid Glacier down. Fumieko with the healing. The Shadow Q used up earlier. Navi walks back into the real world manipulation. They lose out in the fight. Tegami is down. Yue is down. Moshi will follow in soon. Even with the Vengeance resets, it's still a win for Indonesia.
It's a disaster for Cambodia in the first turtle. Just when they had the lead, something like that breaks out, a team fight that necessarily, they controlled the objective. Wow. But then some mispositioning and just a timing of the real-world manipulation. Oh, Yui.
Okay, has the AOG, gets out to safety. Tegami gets the orange buff too, but you can already see Vival is just so active. 2 levels ahead, still has the retribution. Will probably steal this one too. Goes for it, Retry. Zaman for some shells, zoning Yui Fendi away. And now, Glorious Pathway. Doesn't go for the dive there. Spear of Misery already used earlier. Yui Fendi has this flicker, not the Purify. But Indonesia do not decide to go in. They decide, you know what? We've gotten what we came for.
Yeah, it's kind of a pendulum of back and forth of discipline and pressing the aggression. We heard the panel mention it. You know, this is still the aggressive play, the aggressive composition they brought to the table. And I'm glad that you mentioned this. You know, the level lead that Vival has right now is actually pretty crazy considering how, you know, the early minute of the game went and they were able to go ahead and stop things a little bit, but secure that route and even the XP early on for Tagami, but she's still falling behind 8th level for Vival to that 5th level of Tagami. So you said it, man. She's been very active. She's been all over the jungle, taking when she can. And this is a big lead. It's much bigger than you expect, especially when you're talking about a Hayabusa. So already we're looking at the next turtle coming up here. That buff trying to be secured by Tagami and the rest of Cambodia. Trying to keep things in control, but Vival will make her way to the turtle. Cambodia, do they just give this up? I'm not sure if they really want to fight this. Look at the front line hold things down.
I don't think they can. Mochi has done enough damage, but Fumi Echo could just go and heal back up. The glorious pathway. Oh, even a flicker from Nabi. So much respect from Cambodia. Oh, man. Vival knows there's no flicker. Jumps in with the quad shadow. Now waiting for the shadow kill. Doesn't even need it. Just goes in for the shurikens, and Nabi is down for the 2nd time in this game.
Very tough position to be in right now for Cambodia. You know, when you're trying to play against this, and you can see it, it's only a Hunter strike. They might force a fight. Vivian's going to be fine, though. She pops, you know, earlier she had that Revitalize used up. So the focus up here, look how far Shell is.
Half HP, just with one combo, Synchro Vision and all. Zaman forces up, now Yua's going to be targeted down. Tagami walks up, but it's in the real world manipulation. The EOG brings Vivian back. Yua is still going to be chunked low, though. Chell, one more Synchro Vision should do it.
There's
Yua's still
Vival.
surviving, Navi going in, City very low. But now Vival comes in for the cleanup. It's a killing spree, and Chell gets another as well. 2 for 1, only the roamer for the gold lane and Nabi, the mid lane.
Oh, this is tough, man. You want to make a play. You want to keep your gold lane alive. They force a fight. They get the call for Vival to rotate up. And given the lead that she has right now, you know she's going to be pumping out the damage. And so Cambodia falling further behind, you know, 6 minutes in to be down this point. 4,000 gold to work against. This is trouble.
Boy, that's the damage onto the frontliner. That's only Moshi. They've just taken everything. Revitalize Raging Sandstorm from Pamieko. Connects onto 3. Vival now with a quad shadow. Locking him down. The shadow kill in. The Appraiser's Wrath. Not even there to get the purple buff. Vival stole it away. Using the red tree. Pamieko kills Nabi in the back. And it's another 3 for 0.
And Mirko, the chances here for Cambodia to extend the series getting very bleak already at this point in the game, just because, again, this is an aggressive lineup that won't let go, they won't let up, and Cambodia has to somehow rise to the occasion. Final slash.
Gonna be caught, still able to survive somehow again. The healing from Fomi Echo and the zoning from the RWM of Cine.
Man, when we think about this on Cambodia, how can they get back into the game? Down quite a bit already. We know that the strategy for them was really to just allow Yui Fendi to farm up. Oh man, Nabi, she's gone in an instance, and that's what I'm talking about. When you have that much firepower.
Moshi.
Oh, Moshi.
Oh no, already using the final slash. Now Moshi, no more resources to use. Chell, Zaman Force in. Moshi's gonna be bursted down. The tank, Vivian, will just continue to soak in the turret shots. And in the bottom lane, there's a trade, a turret. It doesn't even look like Indonesia want to go for the turtle, man. They're just going to wait for the 8th minute for the Lord to spawn and then take it quick.
Wait for that to come up. Yui, I mean, the front liners getting whittled down this quickly. It's a glaring issue. You know, how do you do this? How do you initiate these fights if your own front line is being bursted down half health, whether that's through Shell? And Cine there to post up with the real world manipulation. You're not going to see this buff any longer for Cambodia. They try to keep it together. Shell takes a stun. There's the RWM.
Zoning them in the back. Again, just to get this turret. The cannon minion still there. Chell will pick up the tier 2. Fumi Echo will try to zone Tagami away. And remember, Fumi Echo, doesn't matter how much you actually poke her down. There's always more healing to come. And there you go. Fumi Echo back to basically full HP.
Not only that, you have her revitalized too, so if she really wanted to, she can just go ahead and stick to Vivian. And right now, this is going to be a free Lord to take for Indonesia. 10,000 gold ahead to lead them into the base charge. Now for Cambodia, once again, can they defend this? Can they keep it together? We saw them do a preview of it in game 1, even despite the deficit they were working against. But I just feel like this lineup might struggle in being able to do that, you know? Yui Fendi does get the golden staff, but she still needs so much time to build up, to get to what she needs on the defense. That Lord's making its way down the mid. The rest of the pressure here on the top, the holy defenses are still there.
Oh.
Tagami, I mean, she's taking enough.
Wait, Yui Fendi's walking up again. Fumieko putting the damage down. The glorious pathway almost there. The flicker around now. Vivid caught on Frigid Glacier. The real world manipulation just chunks Moshi low.
Oh.
Taken down in the RWM. It's an SOD to the back, but Chell is very happy to just take it. Now, with the holy defense already proc, that's the passive city. One more point blast. Navi taking down the wishing lantern.
She's burning.
It's a shutdown. Navi flickers back to the fountain to get HP. Cine outplayed, shut down. Now, some more holy defenses to deal with. It doesn't look like Indonesia will push further.
They don't have to. You know, that's very close. I mean, good thing the flicker was available for Nabi. She might have just actually got taken out with a glowing wand, and you can see it too, the wishing lantern already for Cine. So they're happy with that. Think about it. Off that first Lord, all the shields exposed and down. Even some of the damage done already to the base turrets, setting themselves up for a very decisive second Lord for the take. Now Cambodia still kind of scrapping for whatever gold XP they can get. Shell, she was confident enough to just drop down the Zaman Force because she knows that she can go toe-to-toe with anybody from Cambodia, and that Zaman Force will be back up by the time they want to fight. And it looks like Indonesia might not even want to wait for the next Lord. They want to get these base turrets down if they can. They're going to post up.
Good zoning with the RWM. Fumieko walking up as well. Moshi tried to go for the final slash, but this RWM makes you unCCable.
Wow.
Bivol, Quad Shadow, over to Tagami, SOD as well. City does have the flicker, and that's the Winter Crown from Fumieko. So, for Cambodia, they lose the base turret in the mid lane, and for Indonesia, it's a 10,000 gold lead.
I think at this point, Mirko, we have to really think about the realistic defense that can come through from Cambodia. You're down this much. You have this kind of lineup. You have a revitalized even for you. I think Yui is going to be integral in actually making that defense work. But it's mostly just getting out. If they can bait out some of the ultimates, some of even the battle spells out from Indonesia on the defense, that gives them a little bit of an upper hand. And then you hope that Yui Fendi and Nabi can find the right targets. Nabi, crucial as well to freeze the right targets with the Frigid Glacier. And even Moshi, we've seen this a lot before, time and time again. Sometimes that final slash doesn't work in your favor, but right now they still have to defend against this push. Indonesia wants this top turret. It's not going to happen. Lord's going to come up, though, in a few seconds. Defensive item picked up for Nabi. She gets the winner crown. And now Cambodia, like I said, they'll have to just kind of wait in their base. There's really no room for them to contest. They are going to send Yui Fendi, though, to deal with that long lane, possibly to push. Purple buff taken away from Shell. Tagami jumps in.
Okay, so that's for the attempt now. Fumieko will just use the Raging Sandstorm. The AOG used up as well. City now, he's going to poke them down. Trying to get as much damage as possible, and I don't know, Cambodia, after using that many resources, they won't be able to contest this, right, Chell? Yeah, they got the right idea. They know how many resources Cambodia just spent. They'll just blitz the Lord.
They'll blitz the Lord. Yui Fendi's still there. She's still going to try to push what she can. She's going to have to join this, though, for that fight. The Avatar of the Guardian should be back for Yui, though. Revitalized too. DHS now picked up for Yui Fendi. And they still want to go.
Big final slash over. Shell's still able to get some encore.
Wow.
All falling under the real world manipulation of City. Yui Fendi in the back going on to City, but he's still able to survive with the flicker out as well. Surviving with a bit of HP. Now it's Nabi in the mid lane, taking the kill over. Yui Fendi getting the Spear of Misery. Fumieko just healing it up again. And Vivian, all this time with the DOT. That's a stun in. Now Nabi falling down to the tanks as well. Cambodia have been wiped out, and there's still a Lord in the mid lane. Bivol, Fumieko, and Vivian will usher in another trophy for Indonesia. Your IESF WEC24 champions, Indonesia.
The Queens of MLBB still strong, and now World Esports champions here for IESF. Coming out clean in this best of 3 grand final, 2-0. Cambodia dug deep. They brought out some amazing drafts throughout the tournament. And unfortunately, throwing it way back with a Fredrin was not enough to keep up with a hyper-scaling, hyper-snowballing lineup that Indonesia loves to play and has nearly perfected, and why, again, these ladies are the queens of competitive MLBB that we see around the world. Now they've done it again. They've gotten themselves another trophy to add to the list. Congratulations to them. You guys definitely deserved it. The best team that so many people have seen for so long and aspire to be. And congratulations again as they get ready to lift the trophy. World Esports Champions at WEC 2024. It's Indonesia. Just dominant as ever.
Dropping a single game. Only a single game the entire tournament here in ISU. And it's the very team they rematched in the grand finals.
Yep.
They read out the gameplay. They adapted so well, and by the end of it, it was a clean sweep, 2-0. They adapt, they improve that fast after losing just one game.
Yep.
And you can see just how happy they are, despite them already winning the whole lot for women's MLBB. You can still see the hunger, the passion for these ladies up on stage.
Amazing to see. We're going to have to throw it over to stage. That's going to be it for me, Naisu, and Mirko on the stand here. Let's throw it over on stage with Jasmine and Indonesia.
Ladies, I think I speak on behalf of everybody here when I say exceptional performance, phenomenal gameplay, and wow, oh wow, what a way to close out the World Esports Championships. But Chell, you ladies went undefeated in our group stages. In the playoffs, you beat Cambodia 2-0. Between then and now, did you change anything amongst the team? Were there any discussions that took place heading into this grand finals?
No, we practice as usual.
As usual. And did you feel like you had a good read of how Cambodia would approach this grand finals?
Yeah, I think they only have one strat, so which is maybe they depends on their jungler so much, and we just gotta focus on that.
And for you ladies, being up here on the very big stage, walking away with a huge sum of money, what does it mean for you, national pride?
This tournament actually matters a lot to us because we represent our country, so we fought our best, and now here we are.
And is there anything you want to say to friends, family, fans, all of them?
Just thank you for everyone who supports us, even when we were really down, and they keep supporting us, and thank you everyone.
I want to thank every single one of you for showing us what it means to be exceptional players and bringing a whole new meaning to the wonderful world of esports. Congratulations again. Let's make some more noise for them, please. Back over to my fantastic analysts.
The redemption of Indonesia as they make their way